Hello, I hope you're well whilst you're watching this. I'm Ed and I've been asked by Lee to do one of these videos and explain what walk and talk means to me and to tell you a little bit about my story. This is going to be a long one. Walk and talk has changed my life and means so much to me. I did my first walk and talk on the 21st of April 2019. And it was from Selhurst Park, where Crystal Palace play, to the Emirates Stadium, where my beloved Arsenal play. And it all really happened for me at the last minute and quite by chance. I found out about the event when I was watching my favourite YouTube football show, Bergkamp Wonderland. And they had often mentioned mental health during their shows and reached out to viewers telling them not to suffer in silence and to share their problems. So I wasn't really surprised at all when they did an excellent mental health special with their guest Paul. Now Paul told us all about the wonderful walk and talk happening for the game at the Emirates. Now I've cared a lot about mental health over the years. It's a subject I've often brought up during political debate or whenever health is mentioned over a drink or on the bus, wherever. I really didn't think I'd be able to take part in the walk and talk though. I didn't have tickets to the game for one thing, and more importantly, I'm a carer. I care full-time 24/7 for my very ill grandfather, who has all manner of complicated issues. For a split second I had this crazy dream in my head that I would be able to do the walk and take Grandad and push him in his wheelchair. After all, we do long walks every day for leisure. He enjoys a walk of about 5 miles most days, but I soon put this to the back of my mind and forgot about it. There's just so many things with grandfather that needed to fall into place all at the same time. Especially getting to the venue, the chances were too slim. Blah, 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 just a silly dream. I listened and I learned. Since 75% of all suicides are men, it really impressed me that the walk to raise awareness was targeting men. Sure, it can help women too, and that's fantastic. If it helps anyone, that's great, and all mental health matters to me. I just really wanted to get involved though because of the explicit mention of men's mental health. I just felt that this was a fantastic cause. I was really inspired, and also I'm a carer, and I feel like carers are more likely to be isolated, male and female, and face a potential mental health nightmare. So, excuse me, it's a bit of a sore throat. So I was woken up that Sunday morning of the walk and talk, and would you believe it, my grandfather, who rarely wakes up without feeling ill and cranky, and certainly doesn't wake up early, well, he was up and alert. I made him breakfast, gave him his medicines, all the usual stuff, and he was in a fantastic mood, just brilliant. I have to put this in perspective. My grandfather gets 3, maybe 4 mornings a year like this, and they're becoming rarer. The chances were 1 in 100. Someone was really watching over the pair of us that morning. I had forgotten all about that crazy dream of doing the walk, when suddenly, just as I switched on the TV, my mind screamed at me, the walk and talk. Maybe we could do this after all. And the rest, as they say, is history. It's taking part in the Palace to Arsenal walk and talk. So many things in my life have improved. I've lived with my grandfather for 14 years. Over that time being a carer, I've become increasingly isolated for all sorts of reasons. Before the event, I could go 2 or 3 weeks and not speak with anyone other than my parents, my grandfather, and my elderly next door neighbour who lives just out that door there. On the walk, I met all manner of wonderful people, and next time I checked in on Burkamp Wonderland, I was amazed to find that a wee manhunt was going on for myself and Grandad. I've never been on social media. No one had a clue who I was or who my grandfather was, and people wanted to get in touch. Excuse me again. The show kindly passed on a message to get in touch via Twitter. I joined Twitter, and within days I was chatting with other walkers and people associated with Walk and Talk. So my life began to change in all sorts of different ways, and so many things have happened. I've made friends who understand my position and accommodate the nuances of my life when they can. I've not made friends in years. Lost many, but not made any. Myself and Grandad went on a picnic with some of them over the summer. Met one of them called Jake for a drink and gave him a short tour of Arsenal history, in our local area at least. My friend James took myself and Grandad to the wonderful clubhouse at Dulwich Hamlet FC, where he bought us some of their splendid and rather posh pie and mash with gravy, as well as a delightful beer. And that's a big thing in my life now. I can't really afford to watch Arsenal much. I love them just the same, but it's so hard to follow if you can't afford to even watch them on television. Furthermore, Grandad's situation does complicate things a bit. He can't really cope with the Emirates Stadium most of the time. So I've done without my football fix for many years. So being introduced to Dulwich Hamlet, the layout of the ground, the size of the crowd, it suits Grandad much more than the Emirates. And the travelling is so much easier for us. And not to mention the common sense approach of the staff, who they treat Grandad and myself as individuals, not as a problem in a paragraph in a training book. And that's important. They make off-the-cuff decisions to accommodate our unique circumstances without asking line managers and supervisors and going up the chain like you would have to a large organisation like Arsenal. Dulwich Hamlet has become a big part of both our lives, and we go to games there as often as finances and Grandad's health allow. I've met my friends there and had so many good days out there, even going on non-match days. With my friend Rachel, for example, who doesn't even like football, but we went to the clubhouse during happy hour, got a few pints for, what was it? I think it was 3 pints, £9, of me, Rachel and Grandad, and had pie and mash, and just, got out, which is something I hadn't been doing. On my birthday, for the first time in years, I went out without Grandad being just around the corner or down the road. In the past, I've left him with a family member before for a few hours, but I had always been nearby in case one of his more complex issues arose. But on my birthday in the evening, I put him to bed. My mother stayed the night and watched over him. And I had dinner with the wonderful Jackie. I just had the confidence to do that rather than worrying about my dear old Grandad. I knew he'd be safe. I felt more happy in myself, and I stopped making excuses and gave my mum the call and said, "Mum, I need to go out." And she was a star. The thing I'm most proud of myself is that I've managed to be there for someone when they needed someone to talk with. After all, helping others is why I joined Walk and Talk, and it's given me a sense of purpose to be something other than a carer. I also did a marathon, which I completed in 2 days, pushing Grandad with me in the wheelchair. Um, Doing it in one day was just too much for him, to be honest. And it was to raise money for a mental health charity. So I don't mind admitting I'm quite proud of that. And we followed a football based route in honour of what got me started on all this. I could go on for hours with lots of other stories about things that I've done and examples of how my life has changed because of Walk and Talk. It just needs to be said that it is because of Walk and Talk. I joined in to help others and found help myself when I didn't even realise I needed it. So thanks for watching, and please share this video and spread the news about Walk and Talk.